that war, because of the fact that the U.S. military is killing Russians in Russia right now, we are closer to nuclear war than at any time in history.
Let me whisper a secret. You're one sexy kid.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
And so he didn't want to get sentenced. He didn't want to go to jail. He wouldn't do any of that.
I'm now utterly convinced that Biden and his administration are on the path of destroying America, and most definitely a part of a conspiracy group looking to usher in a new world order. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want, but his actions over the last 4 years, and most definitely over the last few months, are truly showing his true colors, and who knows, maybe beyond that. And I believe when Trump gets into office, a lot more will actually be revealed. As of right now, Biden's actions are simply not making any sense. I feel as if he and his administration or his team, they probably had an agenda, and because they thought they would win the last election, they probably thought they would have time to see their plans play out, and also time to hide a lot of the criminal and crazy things that they've been doing. But now that they don't have that much time, and seeing how Trump is coming into office, he is quickly expediting a lot of his plans and finding ways to protect themselves. And I strongly believe a lot of the plans he had will probably in the long run destabilize America and usher in a new one world government. Now, this is just my opinion based on what I know, but guys, after you watch the video today, I'll just leave you to draw your own conclusion. Watch this.
In the week since we left Russia, Moscow, where we are now, in February after interviewing Vladimir Putin, we've watched from the United States as the Biden administration has driven the U.S. ever closer to a nuclear conflict with Russia, the country that possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal. It has accelerated ever since, and it's reached its apogee so far in the weeks after Trump's election. He's now the president-elect. In that time, just a few weeks ago, the Biden administration, American military personnel, launched missiles into mainland Russia and killed at least a dozen Russian soldiers. So we are, unbeknownst to most Americans, in a hot war with Russia, an undeclared war, a war you did not vote for and that most Americans don't want, but that is ongoing. And because of that war, because of the fact that the U.S. military is killing Russians in Russia right now, we are closer to nuclear war than at any time in history. Far closer than we were during the Cuban Missile Crisis. That would mean the elimination of Russia, the United States, and most of the rest of the world. We felt there must be someone behind the scenes in Washington working to make sure that this conflict doesn't become a nuclear holocaust. But we found out that no, in fact, there is nobody. Tony Blinken, the current Secretary of State, cut off all contact between the U.S. and Russian governments. There is no back channel, there is no conversation, and there hasn't been for more than 2 years. That's shocking. Meanwhile, most Americans have no access to any perspective other than that granted to them by NBC News and the New York Times. They don't know how close we are. They don't know the Russian perspective. We've been trying for over a year to get that perspective out to American news consumers. We've also tried for over a year to get an interview with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. We've attacked that from a bunch of different angles. We've spoken to a lot of different people around him, had dinner with them. We've been in talks continuously, and those efforts have been thwarted by the U.S. government. The American embassy in Kiev, which our tax dollars pay for, told the Zelensky government, no, you may not do the interview. You can talk to CNN, you can't talk to us. So we've been unable to speak to him. So we came back to Moscow yesterday to interview the foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, the longest serving foreign minister in the world. He's been a part of this government for 25 years. He's been in the diplomatic corps for over 40. And ask him, where exactly are we? Are we headed toward an unprecedented conflict between Russia and the United States? Is there any way to peel Russia back from the east, from the sphere of China, back into the west? Is that alliance permanent? And does the election of Donald Trump mean an end to this war, which is reshaping the world, the U.S. economy, the global economy, and risking the life of every person on this planet? Is that possible? We just walked out of that interview. It's absolutely fascinating.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Biden's administration is having American soldiers kill Russian soldiers. They've also closed all doors of communications, including the back channels, so nobody's talking to each other. And we are literally on the brink of nuclear war that has the potential to really destroy the whole world. But yet none of this is being reported in the media, and Americans are actually clueless to what's going on. I would actually say the whole world is clueless to what's going on. In my personal opinion, Trump needs to get into office, and he needs to get into office now. If you like the content and you find any value in it, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to support the growth of this channel, then click on the link in the description down below. Buy us a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Okay, so the next clip I'm going to show you is a little bit disturbing. So I'm just going to give you a warning and a little heads up. It actually did get me a little upset, and I found it extremely inappropriate, especially for a president to conduct himself in such a manner. Take a look.
Yeah. You're good. Let me whisper a secret. You're one sexy kid. Don't tell mommy what I told you. You got it?
I'm recording.
Oh, you're recording. That minute over.
So yeah, she was recording and he didn't even know it. I'm even surprised, to be honest, that he actually allowed her to keep the recording. Like, come on. But again, it's great because we got to see it. Again, this does actually goes to show how corrupt and disgusting some of these people are. A kid, come on, she's just a kid. At least if you're going to do that, do it with a grown woman. That I would understand. As a matter of fact, a man is always going to be a man. I get it, right? Some men love women, okay. But come on, a kid, a child, a girl, that's just totally unacceptable, in my opinion. Now, Biden pardons his son, and it has actually created such an uproar on both sides. This pardon is actually so triggering because Biden was asked so many times about it and denied it. He said he wouldn't do it, point blank. As a matter of fact, his press secretary denied it so many times. Take a look.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear and I said no.
Okay, let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know, and I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Well, that was a lie. Here's an official statement by Biden himself changing his mind. So here's a statement from President Joe Biden himself. Today I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word. And even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charge in this case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Let me make a statement here. He said political opponent in Congress. Donald Trump is not in Congress. So which political opponents are you talking about? Donald Trump had no power. He's not a senator. He's nothing. So he has no power in the Senate. So exactly what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? I'm curious to know. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom with a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's cases. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth. Yeah, right. They'll be fair-minded, so here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has affected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president will come to this decision. Now, he said his political opponents are attacking him, and when he says that, I'm assuming he probably wants us to think Donald Trump. But the problem is Donald Trump's not in office. However, when he does get into office, I think he will look into something like this, if there's any craziness going on, and expose it. At that time, I would get it, because, yeah, you could say, yeah, your political opponent wants justice. But nevertheless, Trump has nothing to do with this. This is just hypocrisy at its finest. That's just my opinion. See, it's not the fact that he pardoned his son alone that's the problem, but it's actually the fact that he consistently denied it when he was asked. That's the problem. So why not just say, hey, it's not something I want to comment on at this time. If I have any more information I want to share, I will share it with you guys. Or right now I'm undecided. When I have more information or when I'm decided, I'll let you guys know. Or at the very least, hey, it's not something I plan to do or want to do, but under certain circumstances, I may reconsider my stance on the matter at a future date. But right now, I don't want to make an official statement. I mean, people would actually appreciate that more. And the reason for changing his mind also doesn't add up. Joe said he will rely on the judicial system to do his thing, but then does the opposite. So then that's undermining the same judicial system that you said you have faith in. I just feel like his son is guilty, to be honest. Let me rephrase that. His son is guilty. And here's why. Because there's a 630-page report on a Hunter Biden laptop documenting 191 sex crimes, 128 drug crimes, and 140 business crimes. And the evidence, guys, let's just say it's very, very overwhelming. And to be honest, without a pardon, this guy was definitely going to jail. So the reason for the pardon to me, again, doesn't make sense. He knew his son's case and his situation from the onset. If he really truly believed his son was innocent and was wrongfully accused and mistreated and all those things he mentioned, why not get involved from the beginning? Why repeatedly deny the consideration of a pardon? Or is there something sinister going on? Something perhaps he's not really telling us. I want you to watch this clip. Now, I'm going to make a hypothetical guess here. I said this before, I'll say it again. I strongly believe they thought they were going to win the last election. And as a result, they thought they were going to actually maintain power, as well as power over the FBI and the whole judiciary system. So this issue, after being reelected, probably would have gone away and shoved underneath the rug or somehow miraculously disappeared. But now that Trump is elected and has promised the American people that he is going to drain the swamp and get rid of all these corrupt politicians, this is a huge threat to Biden, and one that they must find a way to shield himself and people around him before Trump gets inaugurated. I humbly believe Trump's presidency will reveal a lot of things, and it's actually going to shake up the Hill. And this has the Democrats trembling, and especially Biden. He got scared and decided to pardon Hunter. That's what I personally think happened, but again, that's just me. and my insight into all this. But anyways, here's the sad part. And this reads, "Hey, Joe and Hunter, I have some bad news for you. See below. Federal pardons issued by the president apply only to federal offenses. They do not apply to state or local offenses or private civil offenses. Federal pardons also do not apply to cases of impeachment. Pardons for state crimes are handled by governors or a state pardon board." Now, if this is true, that means the pardon that Joe gave Hunter is practically useless, which is interesting. Or could it be he kind of did that so that he could find a way to kind of pardon himself and, of course, his crew? Hey, that's also another strategy. But who knows? Only Joe himself really knows the truth. So Corrupt Joe is on a roll. Can I call him that? Corrupt Joe? It sounds nice. Has a little ring to it, like a jingle. You know what? Yes, I'm going to call him that from now on. All right, so Corrupt Joe decides to continue his pardon spree as if it's the last day of Christmas and his true love came to him. His true love for corruption. He now decides to issue a blanket pardon to people who haven't even committed any crimes, which is, to be honest, a very suspicious move. It makes me actually want to look into these people now. Like, what are they trying to hide? However, this clip gives a little bit more insight. Watch.
Well, I guess Hunter Biden could walk right out today and say, yep, it was mine. Doesn't matter. Blanket pardon, blanket immunity. You gotta love it, folks. An absolute blanket pardon. And that's the plenary power of the president when it comes to pardons at the federal level, too. No president can have their pardon overturned. So what does that mean? So that means it's an absolute power of the presidency, plenary power. So the Supreme Court can't overturn it. Congress can't overturn it. The next president can't overturn it. In fact, Joe Biden himself can't even overturn this pardon because that's the way it's written, folks. That's the way it works. But Jill wasn't worried about Hunter. She didn't care about Hunter. She cared about Hunter going public. She cared about Hunter putting this out. And I got a report last night, actually a couple of reports asked around, and they said that, yeah, Hunter Biden was sitting there up in Nantucket with his dad at Thanksgiving dinner and telling dear old dad, according to White House officials and other Hill sources, that he was telling dear old dad at the dinner table in front of everyone about a book that he was thinking about writing, about all the things that he's been through. Because remember, Hunter Biden was about to be sentenced in just about 2 weeks' time, actually 10 days' time, December 12th. And so he didn't want to get sentenced. He didn't want to go to jail. He wouldn't do any of that. And so he said, Dad, you know, I'm going to have a lot of time when I'm in jail for these sentences, for this gun charge, these tax evasion crimes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll write a book. In fact, Dad, I've already started working on the book. I'm gonna put it out. What do you think about that, Dad? I still got my tongue. I can still speak freely. Unless something were to happen, Dad, I don't know. Do you get it? Jill and Joe were trying to save their own tails. That's what's going on here. And it coincides with everything. That's why it goes all the way back to 2014. The CIA coup of Ukraine, covered. The biolabs, Metabiota, covered. CEFC, the Chinese energy concern, covered. The CCP deals, covered. All of it covered. Kazakhstan, Russia, the Moscow mayor's wife. It's all covered, folks. Every single bit of it.
So I hope you saw that. So Joe decided to release the rest of the funds allocated to Ukraine before his term is up. He does this after Trump announces that the money that is actually set aside for Ukraine, he's actually going to use for another purpose. And to make it worse, Corrupt Joe is asking for even more money now by the end of this year to send to Ukraine. Like, this guy's ludicrous. Like, why not use this money to help the American people? Like, help your nation. People are suffering. Like, people are really, really suffering. Why are you so bent on sending money offshore? Taxpayer dollars at that. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I want you to watch the next clip. Check this out.
Senator, the aspirations of the Ukrainian people, that really does say it all. This is why they lost the election in part.
Yeah, why shouldn't the interests of the American people be the absolute number one goal? I know it is for Donald Trump, which is why Joe Biden is trying to tie his hands. And Laura, listen, he's also asking, Biden is, for Congress to appropriate even more money to Ukraine beyond what he's sending him now. He wants billions more. That's in his end of the year funding request. It is totally ridiculous. It's time for him to admit that his Ukraine policy has been a total disaster. It's in complete shambles. And I tell you, Donald Trump cannot get to office fast enough. We need him now to bring peace to the region and to make sure America's interests are put first.
Now, all this corruption doesn't begin here. This has been ongoing with Joe, and I want you to watch this clip. It's a clip back in 2016, an incident that arose at the time. I just want to kind of refresh your memory if you're unaware of it or if you've forgotten. Check this out.
In 2014, Joe Biden's son, Hunter, joins Burisma, a company renowned for its corruption scandals. In 2015, Hunter Biden is listed by Latvia as being a suspect of money laundering through Ukraine. Ukrainian Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin starts seizing Burisma assets and getting too close to Hunter Biden's activities. By spring of 2016, Joe Biden succeeds in forcing Poroshenko to remove Viktor Shokin and replace him with a man who has zero legal experience. A man he hopes will look the other way on Hunter's Ukrainian cash cow. This victory is short-lived for the Bidens. November rolled in and Donald Trump defied all polls to claim a decisive victory against Hillary Clinton. Biden goes into overdrive to clean up loose ends. November 16, 2016, 2 weeks after Donald Trump's victory, Joe Biden is on the phone with Poroshenko. His voice tenser now than before.
This is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get in a position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the detail.
In other words, Biden does not want Ukraine asking for more money from Trump. Doing so would cause Trump to look into the details.
So anything you can do to push the Privat Bank to closure so that the IMF loan comes forward, I would respectfully suggest is critically important to your economic as well as physical security.
Now, everything is coming out, and based on the election results, the Democrats have lost the trust of the American people, probably the whole world, and I believe that they just completely abuse their power and they have no remorse or respect for their nation or the American people. But it doesn't stop there. It gets even worse. Now, Congress now has documented proof as well as audio proving that Obama, Biden, Hillary, and Brennan have SEAL Team 6 murder to cover up crimes of treason and then paid Iran, get this, $152 billion in cash as hush money after being blackmailed. Take a look at this.
A CIA whistleblower dropping hard evidence that implicates Biden, Obama, Hillary, Brennan, that they actually executed SEAL Team 6 and covered it up, and there is audio, video, and documentary proof. Now, before I get into this, if you're new here, go ahead and tap that red button down below to subscribe, then hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when the latest news breaks. Now, Anna Kate, she'll be joining me in just a moment. She tweeted out yesterday, and now the story is going viral across the web. She said, breaking, Alan Harrow Perot, CIA whistleblower, tells Charles Woods, the father of Tyrone Woods, who was killed in Benghazi, that Obama and Biden sent $152 billion as a cover-up for the deaths of SEAL Team 6. Alan said all of the proof will come out, documents and audio. Now, I'm going to play you the video that's attached here. Okay, video of the whistleblower's own words. But first, let's get some background. Kerry Donovan from DJHJ Media reports that the full interview of the CIA whistleblower interviewed by Charles Woods and Nicholas Noe surfaced on Sunday, where the three talk about the blackmail extortion of $152 billion sent to Iran to cover up the deaths of SEAL Team 6 by the Obama administration. Perot has extensive experience with the intelligence community, and he's planning on releasing the documents this week, and what he said are going to uncover numerous crime sprees. Now, I personally have confirmation that the whistleblower evidence is now in the hands of a member of Congress with the means to take action. And Perot said, of the evidence, a heavy price has been paid for what we are uncovering, and millions of people want to see the truth has to come out. Yes, the truth has to come out. Let's take a look now at the whistleblower before we get to Anna. We'll be right back with Anna after this.
You'd think he'd know not to lie about something so obvious. He said it was a Muslim burial at sea. Nonsense. And so this big lie that you see, Biden, Hillary, and Clinton worked this agreement with Iran. They trusted Iran to move bin Laden to Pakistan. He did. He was there. But then they trusted Iran to keep him there. They moved him out back to Iran. And then the communication from Iran to Obama was, hey, we got your neck in a noose. Give us all this money. $152 billion. $2 billion on an airplane pallet was paid out for the secrets I wish to reveal now and to the president under the terms of misprision and treason. That is to say, this is a secret. These are secrets worth $152 billion paid by President Obama. And Vice President Biden paid with the blood of SEAL Team 6 when he had them killed.
So it's blackmail and extortion then?
Blackmail and extortion.
Now,
Iran commandeered?
You have the documents to
yes.
This.
Yes.
Now,
Iran. Yes, sir.
Well, I was going to ask you, if you have those documents, are you willing to personally deliver those to President Trump if he were to provide the transportation and the guarantee of safety for you to do that?
Corruption at the highest level, I tell you. Do you know what that money could have done for the country? Man, that's completely absurd. So Biden is covering his ass with blanket pardons because his dirty laundry is about to be released. And I created this video because I just wanted to show everyone that the mainstream media is not reporting everything. They're so bent on Trump and exposing all of Trump's frauds, all the lies he tells, and they're counting the lies he's telling. Everything is so negative about Trump that it's like the other guy on the side of the road is just sweeping his dirt underneath the rug on the train, bypassing everybody and being shown as an angel of light, which is not fair. If you're going to dirty out Trump's laundry, then dirty out Biden's laundry. If you're going to praise Biden on good things he has done, then praise Trump on some of the good things he has done. Everyone has something good and something bad. Nobody's perfect. But again, the mainstream media is not reporting everything. Why aren't any of these things being reported on CNN, MSNBC, or even the New York Times? If it was Trump, you guys definitely know he wouldn't even stand a chance. They would have been rushing to impeach this guy literally immediately if they could. Anyways, what do you guys think about all this? What do you think about the Hunter Biden pardon? How do you feel about Biden issuing blanket pardons to individuals who are not even under any investigation? And how do you feel about the inactions towards Russia leading us to the brink of a nuclear war? Let me know your thoughts and opinions and put them down underneath the video below. So we know Trump is now the president of the United States, but not everyone is happy about it. Jimmy Kimmel is almost in tears and the view is completely divided. If you want to watch that video, you can because it's coming up right about now.